Another glorious day here in South Wales, and I've been doing a few jobs in the garden. It's lovely in the early evening just to come out and appreciate the quietness. It's just a few birds singing, and it's such a lovely place to be now. So the weather here again has been absolutely glorious, and I've been busy just moving one of my Acer trees. And I had this one here at the bottom of the garden, and it wasn't really being appreciated down there. It's a lovely tree, and this has been moved to different parts of the garden over the years. I think this is probably 3 or 4 years old now. And I thought that it really needed to be centre of attention up by the seating area, where we'll get a lot more pleasure out of looking at it up there. It's got lovely feathery foliage, and it's such a delicate looking tree. Just look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And to the right of that, I've got another Acer, and this one here is an Acer Baihu. And yet again, this is just a little bit heavier leaves on this one, but this one has got lovely coloured stems in the autumn, and I think that they are beautiful trees just next to a seating area. So it's early evening now at the moment. It's mid-May, and I think it's better to wait until the evening time, as there's some lovely light now around the garden. The tree fern is looking absolutely fantastic. And the rhododendron bush just over the other side of the garden. The flowers on that. I'm just loving that plant this year. It's the best it's ever looked. Really beautiful. And I've been out today working hard in the garden. It's become so overgrown now lately that I've had to start trimming back the pathway just so that I was able to get through. I've trimmed down some of the foliage on the bananas. And it's looking really jungle-like down here now at the moment, and all this growth is absolutely fantastic. Just down here we've got the Fatsias polycarpa. That's doing really well. I love the leaf shape on that. Wonderful leaves. And next to that we've got the Schefflera Taiwaniana. That stayed really well throughout the winter. And there's also some new growth coming there too. The filler plants, such as this persicaria, are growing absolutely wild, so I've had to trim them back slightly. And just look at the height now. Gone on that Fatsias japonica. This is the best the garden has ever looked this year. And the garden now is going into its 4th year. This is a cordyline indiviser, and what a size. It's a wonderful garden just to come out into and relax. And I could spend hours out here just looking at all the different plants. Let me know in the comments what plans you've got for your garden this year, and also let me know what part of the world you're from, as I always love to read the comments and to see where all my viewers are from. Now at the bottom of the garden, here I've got the euphorbia, and this is Euphorbia wolfenii. And just in here I've planted another euphorbia today, and that is where I had planted the Acer. So you can see now that it didn't really have an awful lot of space. I've trimmed back a few leaves on the Trachycarpus waggi, and just to the left now of the Acer, you can see that I've got some lovely red rhododendron flowers just coming out, and they are really brightening up the corner spot. The tetrapanax is growing really wild, and the leaves on that now are really growing absolutely huge. And just look at those now. What a plant. You can't really appreciate the full size of this tetrapanax on camera, but the leaves have got to be 70 to 80 centimetres across now. It's a wonderful plant. And the growth, well, that just happened so quickly. And this plant is only on its second year, and it's currently sitting on about a 2-foot stem, and what a plant. The tree fern now has completely unfurled, and just look at that lovely green now. Beautiful. This warm weather that we're having in the UK at the moment has done absolutely wonders for the garden. Everything has grown so much in the last few weeks. And it's lovely to have some lovely weather in the garden. And I hope you too have been enjoying this weather. Everything here is growing wonderful at the moment, and it's so nice to see. Just look at the size on these leaves of this hosta guacamole. I'm really loving this Acer, just up near the seating area. And it just looks so delicate, and I've been sitting out here today and I just can't take my eyes off it. The large cordyline in the centre of the garden, well, that's got some flowers now growing out of it, and that soon should be splitting again into more branches. I could spend hours of my time out here just looking at all of the different plants that I've got growing in the garden. One of my favourite bamboos in the garden is this Robusta Campbell with its stripy stems. And this is so different to the other bamboos that I've got. And it really does look beautiful. And it's so different with the stripes. This is a clumping bamboo, so there's no need to worry about this running around the garden. And just look at those stems there. Beautiful. I love coming out into the garden in the early evening, just to appreciate how quiet it is out here. And it's a wonderful place just to relax. I have moved now most of the weeds out of the wildlife pond. There was an awful lot of weed in here, and one of my lovely viewers did say that it wouldn't be very good for the tadpoles, as having too much in the pond with the duckweed and the other type of weed that I had in there would probably take the oxygen out of the water. So I've removed most of that now, and they are growing really big. There's plenty of them in there, although you can't really see an awful lot of them at the moment. The jasmine is growing on the wooden trellis by the wildlife pond. It is quite a slow grower, but I am tying this in as it's growing, and hopefully it will get to the top. I'm loving this fern by the wildlife pond, but I just can't remember what it's called. It certainly didn't look like that last year. And both of these ferns around by the wildlife pond are looking perfect. The leaves on these are just absolutely wonderful. And I really love a fern in the garden. I've also been busy just trimming back a little bit of the Euphorbia John Phillips, so that when I walk now down the path to the greenhouse, it's not overhanging and getting in the way. These flowers now are still looking good, and they've been out now for a few weeks. They're lasting really well, and they're absolutely beautiful with their honey scent. Now inside the greenhouse, the tomatoes now are growing really tall and they've got flowers on them. And I've been busy today potting up some of my peppers there, and hopefully we'll have some lovely chili peppers and sweet peppers for the summer. The geums are out in the garden. They're bright orange colour. When I come home from work, it's time to feed the animals and to water the garden. Vim likes to eat his food al fresco on these warmer evenings, and then it's time to feed the birds. And I'll go to the bird table and I just top up the dish with some songbird mix, some mealworms, and also some peanuts, and they seem to like this, and by the time I get home the following night that's all gone and the bowl is empty. And then it's to the tadpoles just to check on the wildlife pond and make sure everything is okay. Now in the centre of the garden, you can see that there's another salvia there, and this will grow really large now over the summer. I thought this was a love and wishes, but I was mistaken. I think it's called a black and bloom, and it's got some very dark purple flowers, and it grew last year to be well over a metre tall. Also hiding in the centre of the garden there is a lovely sedum, and they used to be known as a sedum autumn joy. And that's next to a lovely mahonia. That's the soft caress. There's a few of these in the garden, and these are beautiful soft green leaves on these. Every bamboo now in the garden seems to have had a spurt of growth, and they're all much taller than they were last year. This is just one plant, and this is a Fatsias rufa. Just a basic bamboo. It's a clumping bamboo which has a beautiful arching shape. So this isn't really an upright bamboo, but it's a beautiful plant, and they seem to do well in this garden. I can hear the hedgehog sniffing away in amongst the plants, but the trouble is, it's so densely packed in that I just can't see him anywhere. But I'll keep looking. There's plenty of places here for the hedgehog to hide, but I'm sure that when it gets darker later on, he'll be out. And I do sometimes see him, and I do feed him as well. And these Alstroemeria Indian summer are looking really tropical in the garden. What beautiful colours on these, with their reds, yellows and orange shades. And the Clematis armandii has got to the top of the trellis, but for the moment it seems to have stopped there. I am watering it every few nights, and the leaves are lovely on it. It's put on quite a lot of size, but it does seem to have just stopped in its tracks for the moment. Fingers crossed now that'll continue. And when I'm out in the garden, Bim is never far behind, and I'm sure he can hear the hedgehog too. He seems to be listening intently. And I have got a trail camera, which I have got to set up and maybe get some overnight footage of the garden, just to see if there's any wildlife in amongst these plants. Maybe I might see some things that I don't want to see. Or who knows, there could be a whole family of hedgehogs here. That would be lovely. thank you so much for joining me in the garden today here in South Wales. And if you do like gardening and you enjoy looking at tropical plants and hardy plants that I grow here in the UK, why not subscribe, as this will help the channel to grow. Until next time, I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. And don't forget to press the notification bell so you never miss an update. Bye!